The Mavericks get crushed at home by the Celtics despite Cooper Flagg's monster night. We'll break it all down on a busy night in the NBA next on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. It's the DLLS Mavs postgame show live in our downtown DLLS Sports Studios. Kevin Gray, alongside our DLLS Mavs analyst Bobby Curler. We are, of course, DLLS Mavs, your favorite guys, covering your favorite team, even when they get blown out at home by the Boston Celtics, despite Cooper Flagg going off for 36 points for his third straight 30-point-plus game. We'll break it all down here for you over the course of the next hour as the Mavericks lose 110-100 at the AAC for their fifth straight loss, dropping to 19-31 on the year after 50 games. Meanwhile, the Boston Celtics improving to 32-18 after their first 50 games. Really appreciate you joining us here on DLLS Sports. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe while you are here as well. We'll be joined by our DLLS Mavs beat writer, Harrod Jr., live from the AAC a little bit later on, and our national NBA insider, Marc Stein, as well, on a very, very busy Tuesday as the trade deadline less than 48 hours away. Some moves, a lot of moves already being made across the association. But Bobby Curler, your biggest takeaway from tonight is?
My biggest takeaway from this game, and I don't want this to be considered glazing, and I don't want this to be considered doomer. My biggest takeaway from this game is that the Celtics are a good team, okay? And that is important because, you know, like you said, the Mavs have now, lost 5 straight games. Even in some of those losses, they've been really competitive. Before that, they had strung together 4 wins in a row. They blew out Utah 2 straight games, and they've played pretty well, reasonably speaking, over the last month or so, albeit in a relatively friendly stretch of schedule.
Mm-hmm.
They run into Boston tonight, who's been playing pretty well, especially lately. And you saw all of the limitations of the Mavs players.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now obviously no Kyrie, no AD, even Brandon Williams was out, and you know, so he provides offense. Dallas scored just 100 points, but you know, this is the first time in a really long time that I've noticed fans talking on the internet about how Najee passes up open threes.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't really matter if you pass up an open three if you're going up against the Jazz, you know, or you know, Daniel Gafford tonight at various points looked okay, and then he left the game again and got hurt again, and then came back in and just didn't look great. Well, that was pretty loud against a team like Boston that will stretch you out, spread you out defensively because all of those guys can shoot. All of the weaknesses popped up again, you know, and we have said many times that the Mavs' biggest strength as a team in this league at this juncture is that they just play hard.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the time, you know, to take nothing away from NBA players because their jobs are very difficult, but a lot of the time, if you just play harder than the other team, you're going to have a really good chance to win.
Sure.
You know, you still might lose at the end of the game because you just get outskilled like they did in Houston, for example. You know, you lose that game at basically the final possession of the game. Hornets, same thing. But whenever a team is clearly better than you, runs a clearly better offensive system, they were mixing up their defensive looks much better than the Mavs were. They're just better. The Celtics are just better than the Mavs, and it showed tonight. And that underscores, not to jump the gun too much because we got the rest of the hour to talk about the trade deadline, but that underscores why the Mavs are not going to make the playoffs. That underscores why they're probably not going to make the play-in, and that underscores why the front office needs to act accordingly because the team played tonight, and the team is not good. You know, the Celtics are good. The Mavs might not be bad, but the Mavs are not good. And where you don't want to be is in that exact position.
That's right.
So, you know, I have a feeling that 1 or 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 players, I have no idea, have played their last game as a Mav, and that kind of sucks, but that's how it goes.
Yeah, and this was a game, of course, behind the backdrop of the NBA trade deadline, which is on February 5th, and the biggest takeaway for me tonight is, I mean, Cooper Flagg with the 36 points that he had, the amount of defensive coverages that the Celtics threw at him tonight, whether it be double teams, blitzing him, trying to get the ball out of his hands, physicality with him throughout the course of the night, Cooper Flagg played through all of it, was able to get to his spots on the floor, whether it be in the mid-range, was confident in terms of taking the three-point shots. He was able to get downhill, was able to get himself to the free throw line tonight where he had 11 free throw attempts. Obviously, Jason Kidd was not happy about the officiating on Saturday night against the Houston Rockets. Cooper Flagg making it a point to get downhill and attack the rim when he had
That's exactly why you do it, by the way.
Exactly. This is exactly why you do it. Yes, exactly. And the kid got his point across on Saturday night, $35,000 lighter in the wallet because of it. But I'm sure when you see nights and stat lines like this from Cooper Flagg, it's worth it because the whistle that he's gotten at times hasn't been great this year. But when he's been able to get to the foul line, it just makes the efficiency that much better. And he shot 50% from the field tonight, 10 of 11 from the field. He had chase down blocks. He was doing everything that he could to try to help the Mavericks stay competitive in this game where, I mean, Bobby, it didn't feel like the Mavericks threatened really at all at much point in this game against a Boston team who saw Jaylen Brown go off for over 30 points. He had 33 points in this game. Peyton Pritchard was really good in this game. He had 26 as well. Luka Garza coming off the bench had 16 points with 4-4 from downtown. He was really good in the third quarter. But, yeah, Cooper Flagg tried to put the Mavericks on his back. And the 19-year-old had another monster stat line as evidenced by some history that he made tonight with the stat line that he had.
Yeah, I'll get to his stat line in a second, but the what you were talking about, how they mixed up the coverages, there were times they were playing man, there were times they were switching, there were times they were blitzing. And Coop has not faced a lot of double teams at all this year. I was trying to look on my little database to see how many times that's happened, and it's tough because with someone like Luka, for example, it's easy because Luka uses so many ball screens, so you can just look by picks. How many times was he double teamed or blitzed off of a screen? Coop was sometimes they were just sending a second defender even whenever he. So it's really hard to look those things up. But just in my memory bank, I don't remember many times this year where he's been double teamed at all.
Yeah.
Let alone where that is like kind of the sole game plan for stretches of a game. And that says two things. One, says teams are starting to respect Coop a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. But two, and this is kind of the part where it goes back to exposing some of the shortcomings of the Mavs roster, is that teams feel like they can.
Yeah.
Earlier this year, because the Mavs are playing so big and they were kind of slow and there wasn't a lot of shooting, teams didn't have to double team them because you could just stay home on guys and no one could beat anyone off the dribble. But now that the Mavs are playing a little more space because they don't have two non-shooting bigs on the floor, they only have one at a time, even sometimes zero. But they have a little more space. There's more driving lanes. They're able to get to the rim a lot more often, Coop and Najee in particular. And so Joe Mazzulla looked at it and said, all right, well, I'm just not going to guard Najee, or I'm not going to guard this guy or that guy, and take the ball out of Coop's hands and see if it works. And it did work. The Mavs were 9 of 32 from 3.
Yep.
That's 28%.
Yeah.
It's really bad, man. I mean, the Celtics were 13 of 39. That's fewer threes than they normally take, and that's worse than they normally shoot. And they were still by far the better three-point shooting team. Plus 12 on points from threes. They won the game by 10. And so that is a little worrying. But Coop's stat line, all right, 36 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 blocks. It's a pretty good stat line, Kevin.
It's not bad.
It's a pretty good stat line. He is 19, freshly 19. He's like 19 and a month and a half.
That's right.
Years old. The previous 4 youngest players in NBA history to record that stat line in a game are Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Luka Doncic, and Michael Jordan.
Wow. It's not bad company, man.
I'll keep. Stop me whenever. I'm going to get to the punchline here in a second.
Okay.
Paolo, Anthony Davis, Shaquille O'Neal, and Lonnie Shelton.
Who?
I don't know. Lonnie Shelton. He did it in 1977, and then Kobe, Tracy McGrady. I mean, this is like, this is some of the best players of all time that we're talking about here.
You said Paolo Banchero had that stat line too?
Paolo Banchero had it whenever he was 21 years old and 351 days.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He had 50 points, 13 boards, 9 assists, 2 blocks.
He had a 50-point game as a 21-year-old?
50, 13, 19, 50, 13, 9, 2. Yeah.
Damn. Who was that against? Damn.
The Pacers.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow, that's a hell of a
start
line.
of last season. The Pacers would go on to go to the finals.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe the Celtics are about to go to the finals too.
I mean, they got some reinforcements coming along the way as part of a busy NBA trade deadline already. Prior to this game, Anthony Simons was traded from the Boston Celtics to the Chicago Bulls in exchange for Nikola Vucevic. And if it's anything like what Luka Garza did tonight, knocking down threes, you might have got a little bit of preview of what the Celtics are about to look like here over the next couple of months with Nikola Vucevic coming out there to be able to knock down threes and stretch the floor like he's capable of, a la the way Kristaps Porzingis was able to do when he was in Boston to help the Celtics, of course, win the NBA title a couple of years ago. But as you mentioned, some of the numbers from tonight's game, rather ugly shooting night for the Dallas Mavericks. Only 9 of 32 from three, 28% overall from downtown, 41% overall from the field. Did only have 9 turnovers in this game to Boston, who had 10 in tonight's contest. Both teams did not shoot, the Celtics did not shoot the ball well from the free throw line. They only took 5 free throw attempts, actually. They're going 3 of 5. They don't take very many free throws. In fact, they take the fewest free throws per contest in the league. In fact, they only take 19 free throws on average per game. They took 5 in tonight's contest. Meanwhile, the Mavericks did go 17 of 22 from the field. Had a little bit of a scare in this game early on. Daniel Gafford had to leave the game after re-injuring his right ankle again. Was able to return in the second half. He finished with a double-double with 10 points, 12 rebounds, and 2 blocks, going 4 of 5 from the free throw line, as a lot of Mavericks fans are like, look, sit him down, especially for someone who is potentially going to be who potentially played his last game as a Dallas Maverick tonight.
How many games
by
he
a
left
lot?
there?
I'm sorry. Just real quick, by a lot of Mavericks fans, do you mean Kevin Gray Jr.?
No, a lot of Mavericks fans.
No, I know. I'm not saying.
Yes, me in
I'm not saying
particular.
you're the only one.
You've had it up to our Qualis roof.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you're the
right.
only one, but it's every time. Just
well, first of all, I feel bad for him because he's playing through pain. Like, he is tough. Like, he is playing his ass off, playing and toughing it out every single night. It's just hard for me to watch him every time he re-injures. It's like, dude, or somebody, just let him sit down, because he's clearly been paying through pain all year long. And I tip my cap to him, man, because, dude, he's tough as nails. But at some point, it's just like, man.
He leaves games early a lot.
He does leave games early a lot.
An awful lot. You know, and you know, the old adage is, like, whenever you hurt one leg, you're going to start favoring that, and you're more likely to hurt the other.
Overcompensating,
Omega knock on wood moment, but, like, it is a miracle that he hasn't hurt anything else.
Agreed.
Because he's been favoring that ankle the entire season.
Mm-hmm.
The entire season. Since before the season.
It is literally day one of training camp. 15 minutes into training camp.
That's at this point, ankle. That's 4 months ago.
Yeah.
He's had a bad ankle for 4 months.
Yes.
And, you know, considering they were going to have Derek Lively play on a broken foot last year, or a stress fracture or whatever, like,
unreal, man.
It's just, God, fans need something. Fans need to be able to trust that the team has their players' best interest in mind. And so watching this happen with Gafford over and over again just reminds me of stuff that happened last year.
Yeah, and that was a complete nightmare.
I mean, to your point, credit to him for gutting it out and continuing to play. I mean, he's a battler, he's a fighter, he's a gamer.
Yeah, I got a lot of respect for Daniel Gafford. Tremendous respect for him as a player and a human being for playing through that, because he does not have to. But he continues to get out there for his teammates. I know his teammates appreciate that and what he did. It does night after night to try to help them out. Let's get to a super chat before we take our first break here on our DLLS Mavs postgame show. Let's start with Sheldon with the $9.99 super chat.
Go.
Shout out to you, Sheldon. Has the Mavs front office governor finally picked a direction? Cooper is really good. Mavs aren't far off. Kyrie will help. They just need to flip AD for a good 3-and-D player, a Quentin Grimes type. Maybe in free agency.
I don't know if they've picked a direction.
I don't know if they picked a direction either.
I mean, this is all my opinion. All right, I need to preface it with that. This has nothing to do with reporting.
Do not aggregate Bobby
No,
Carella
I'm not
here.
saying don't aggregate. You can aggregate me all you want. I don't care. Like, just whatever. I don't care at all. I'm just saying I'm not getting this notion from Stein or from Shams or from any of the reporters. It really feels like there's just a lot of people in that office right now, and none of them is, like, taking charge. Just feels like everyone has different opinions. Patrick Dumont is preaching patience. It feels like whenever you have 2 interim GMs, you know, are they going to be able to come to agreement on a really committal decision whenever they're like their careers are hanging in the balance.
While taking input from the head coach as well.
And the owner, the former owner of the team,
That's
who's
right.
back in the mix somehow too. There's a lot of different agendae, okay, floating around. I think it's really hard to come to a consensus decision. And also, you know, I'm not accusing Matt Riccardi, I don't know his management style, or Michael Finley, I don't know his management style, or Dumont or anything, but like Mark Cuban before the season said, we want to win. He said, we don't want to trade AD. And we've seen Cuban make a lot of rash decisions before. Like every single time it looks like the Mavs are going to be buried, they win 3 out of 4 or 5 out of 7, or they beat the Nuggets or they beat the Rockets. And it's like, oh, we're good. They just won 4 straight a couple weeks ago. I wonder if that changed the way that they view their own team. Like it might have. It might not have. It might have. Like I don't know what their priorities are. So my opinion is I don't know if they have any.
I mean, I hope it didn't change because, I mean, I'll be that guy for 10 seconds. That was a fake 4-game winning streak, honestly. And I've said that online and I've said it on this show. I mean, they beat down a Jazz team that's flagrantly tanking. They caught the Knicks in the midst of its worst stretch of the season and a reeling Warriors team emotionally after they just lost Jimmy Butler the night before or the 2 nights before. Sometimes it's about when you play teams and not who you play. And they caught 3 teams at the right time. And they
really like 2.5 teams, let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the Knicks were having player-only meetings in the middle of a game and still getting their ass whooped. And to your point, the Mavericks played harder and showed up. And they gave themselves a chance to win, and they did. I think, unfortunately, what we've seen lately is more indicative of what has been the totality of this season, even in the midst of the injuries.
If history is any indicator, during Luka's rookie year, whenever it became clear that Luka's really good, the Mavs kind of tried to skip the rebuild.
They did.
They didn't have the stomach to. No, I'm not saying whether that's right or wrong. I'm saying they did not want to go into a rebuild. They traded future picks to get KP. They moved money off the books in the hopes of signing max-level free agent that summer to go along with Luka and KP. It was clear they wanted to get good and not be potentially bad for a couple years.
Sure.
Or prioritize draft positioning or whatever. This team doesn't control its future picks. I'm not sure if this team has the stomach to be bad. Like, my worry is that they're going to try and be good next year, and we just saw a pretty good demonstration of how not good they are right now.
Yeah.
Granted, they got a lot of guys hurt.
Sure.
You can wait around for those guys to get healthy forever. You can wait until the end of time if you want, or you can make some bold decisions tomorrow and put yourself in a position to succeed for the next 10 years. The choice is theirs.
Let's take our first break here on the DLS Mavs postgame show. When we come back, a little bit of the turning point of tonight's game, plus we start to dive into what was a very, very busy day in the NBA trade deadline, including this blockbuster that happened for Utah. Yeah, Utah. We'll talk about it next. What kind of dreams did you have growing up as a kid? Did you want to be a professional athlete or an actor? Or now that you're grown up, did you want to start your own business? And if you do, Shopify can help you with that. With Shopify, it's the e-commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world, including 10% of all e-commerce here in the United States of America. In fact, they even power our DLLS merch store, where you can see this shirt right here, the one that Bobby's got on. That shirt right there. Yeah, you can find that on our DLLS merch store, powered by Shopify. They got you covered with website creation, product descriptions, email, and social media marketing as well. And they have AI tools designed to help you maximize your sales when it comes to Shopify. If you're ready to sell, you're ready to Shopify. Turn your big business idea into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/allcity. That's shopify.com/allcity. Get your business started today with Shopify.
Basketball, football, hockey, baseball, tennis, golf, racing. What do all of these things have in common?
They're sports.
Yeah, but also you can play them on Prize Picks. Prize Picks, you choose whether between 2 and 6 players or athletes or performer, whatever it is, will record more or less than their projected stats. And you can get down to the nitty gritty, not just points, rebounds, assists, maybe 3-pointers, maybe free throw attempts in basketball, maybe offensive rebounds, not just defensive rebounds, whatever it is. It is so much fun. They also offer stacks too, so you can say, hey, Cooper Flagg is going to get more than 22.5 points and more than 8.5 rebounds. So 2 different plays on one guy. They were the first platform and the only platform to allow you to do that. So if you want to play along, download Prize Picks today. Use promo code DLLS at sign up, and whenever you make your first $5 lineup, Prize Picks will gift you $50 in free cashola to use on lineups anytime you choose on Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
Welcome back to the DLLS Mavs post-game show. Mavericks lose tonight, 110-100 at home to the Boston Celtics for their 5th straight loss. We'll get to what was a little bit of the turning point here in just a second and start to dive into a very busy day in the NBA, including a couple of blockbusters that happened in the Western Conference. And we'll get to that here in a little bit. Lanner with a $2 super chat. What do the Mavs generally have to offer Cooper long-term?
That is a really good question. I mean, in an unholy amount of money. You know, we were doing the math. Remember last year we were doing the math after Shea signed his deal. We were extrapolating like there's a chance that Coop will make $1 billion. Or no, it was not the first to make $1 billion. He has the chance to be $100 million player.
Yeah, $100 million a year player
on his 3rd contract.
Yeah.
If the cap keeps going up the way it is, so just a lot of money.
Yeah.
Is the main thing, but. You know, you're trying to sell a player on a culture and everything, but they got a long way to go before they have to sell him on anything. But that question does tie to something that I'm going to find the username. I'm sorry. That UU was asking, which is, do you really think you're going to win with Flagg, inexperienced players, and rookies? I think that's talking about like as the correct me if I'm wrong, but like that's the alternative to. For example, sticking with this team, you know, that if you do trade all the veterans for picks or for young guys, you know, you might be bad for a really long time. And that is true, especially because the Mavs don't control any of their picks again until 2031 after this year. So they don't really have any incentive to be awful. But with this roster, there's no reason to believe. You could hope, I guess, because I think Kyrie is that good. You can hope that whenever they're healthy, if healthy, Tanner, Tanner, there you go, that they will be good, not just like kind of good.
You said it like 4 times.
You're right.
Touche.
That they will be legitimately good, like top 6 to maybe even top 4 level good, because Coop is already great and Kyrie comes back, and you know if they keep AD, you know, and they do have a lot of good players. That's the best case scenario. The worst case scenario is what we're seeing now, which is they're not even good enough to be in the play-in because a couple of those guys get hurt. So. It's kind of the devil you know versus the devil you don't, right? I don't know that keeping this team together is a good idea. In fact, I think keeping this team together is a bad idea because it's expensive and it's getting older and it's very injury prone. I'm not advocating for trading everybody, though. I don't want them to trade everybody, in part because they don't own any of their draft picks. And I do think Coop is good enough to be, you know, one of the alphas on a playoff team here pretty soon, like maybe as early as next year, if not sooner. So, you know, I would advocate for trading some of these guys to help clean up your books so that whenever Coop's rookie contract comes to an end, or even before that, if you do it right, you can add meaningful talent and get everything back in order to where you can keep going.
So let's play this game real quick.
All right.
How long before Cooper's rookie contract ends?
What do you mean?
Like, how many years do we have before his
okay. So after this year, it's 3. So 26, 27, 27, 28, 28, 29 is the final year of his deal.
So we're talking about a minimum of 3 years.
3 years after this one, yes.
Yeah. You cannot rush the rebuild. Like, you've got to be prudent and be able to build this correctly. Because if you're going to maximize a guy who's already 19 and be able to get him to his prime where he's competing for championships year after year after year, this time right now is critical to be able to get yourself in a place where you can have, you know, not only money but requisite assets to be able to attract the kind of high-level talent to play along with Cooper Flagg that fits his timeline too. So I agree. Like, you have to be able to get yourself started in that position now. Who remains on this team, whether it be past this trade deadline or past, you know, the summer free agency period, obviously remains to be seen. But the lesson that has to be learned from when Luka was here was don't rush that. If you do it right, I've always believed for an athlete, especially one who is as talented as a Cooper Flagg or whomever, pick your superstar in your favorite sport, if you present them with a plan, a credible plan, and you lay out a vision for what it will look like as you continue to build around them, most of the time that superstar or budding superstar will have the patience to go along with it. I think Cooper Flagg is one of those players that will have the patience to understand if there's a actual real plan being formulated around him that he wants to be here to see it through, then you can take your time and do that, because the benefit for him is he's only 19. The question is, who will be the GM in place to put forward a credible vision to allow Cooper Flagg to see what that could look like 3-4 years down the road, so that by the time he gets to the end of that rookie deal where he's going to get his rookie supermax, they'll be in position to be able to compete at the top of the West for years to come, because things are getting crazy already in the Western Conference. And if you believe the idea that Giannis Antetokounmpo potentially is on his way to the West, whether it be with the Minnesota Timberwolves or whomever, you're already seeing teams starting to make moves to try to get themselves in position over the next couple of years to get good and get good fast. And one of those teams is the Utah Jazz, however you may feel about the Jaren Jackson trade. But I agree with you. You've got to do this right, and you have to be able to approach it correctly, because you've been given a generational get-out-of-jail-free card with a kid as good as Cooper Flagg already, and you have to do it right.
Yeah, and ZFRCF says, Bobby, nobody is on the books in 28-29. It's most of the players obviously under contract are out by then. Coop, that's the last year of his rookie deal. PJWashington has 1 year after that one, and Gafford, that would be the final year of the extension he signed. Plus, going into this offseason, or by the end of the offseason, you're probably going to have to give Max Christie his extension before next season starts, if you want to avoid like some pretty weird stuff, and then also Najee too. So there's a chance that you would have those 5 plus the player that you would be selecting in this year's draft if you do keep that pick, which is already 6, plus the guy you would draft in 2029. That would be the pick that you have from the Lakers, which is already 7. So, that's already 7 players. Collectively, they would combine for $100 to $120 million, depending on what you end up paying Max and Najee, which is well below the cap. But what you also want to do is have, first off, flexibility. So, and I don't mean flexibility in terms of cap space, which is what that's what flexibility used to mean, right? Flexibility now is having a variety of kinds of contracts. You always have some expiring money. You always have players that can be moved. Like I would say right now, if what Stein has been saying lately is true, like AD has very little value. Kyrie obviously coming off an injury, you can't trade him. Clay has very little value because of the nature of his deal. PJ can't even be traded. Caleb Martin, negative value. They have a lot of guys like that. You don't want that to be your situation. You don't want to find yourself in a situation in 29, the final year of Coop's rookie contract. Good God, I cannot talk correctly tonight. I'm so sorry. It's been a long 48 hours editing good, Cowboys videos.
You're good, man.
What you don't want to do is in 29 when, pick a player, I don't know, Donovan Mitchell is like, man, I want a change of scenery. Sure. I want to go team up with Coop. You don't have any picks and you don't have any young guys. You don't have any good contracts to trade.
Yeah.
The next time a guy becomes available, because now all of the best players in the league, as we've seen, they never hit free agency. Like, unless they're really old and they signed for the minimum or something. Like, all of the best players in the league move via trade, and you need 2 or 3 of the best players or more in order to win a title. So, when Coop is 21, 22, 23, and you're thinking, all right, this dude is a certified badass. He's got a couple years of playoff experience. It's go time. You have to be in a position to be able to go get some of those players or even one of those players and already have some other guys on the team that you can go win with. And oftentimes whenever you get the number 1 pick, you're starting with a blank slate, or even better than a blank slate, because you have a lot of picks. You have a lot of young guys. The Mavs were a surprise bad team last year. They have a roster around Coop that's meant to be a good team, but they're very banged up. They're getting old. They're getting very expensive. A lot of these guys will be gone, to your point, by 2029. So you have to set everything else up to where you can be agile and be ready to pounce when the time comes.
And I see a lot of folks in the chat discussing the idea of Kyrie Irving, for example. And yeah, Kyrie Irving's not going to get traded. Obviously not going to get traded at the trade deadline. To me, there are questions as you get, because he'll be 34, I believe, in March. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he'll be 34 in March. Coming off of a torn ACL.
Yes.
Yeah, so he'll be 34 in March. So the final year of his deal is a player option, I believe over $40 million. For athletes normally, it takes about a year after having that torn ACL to kind of feel like themselves again. So now we're talking about him. Yes, he'll be playing pretty well for the most part, I imagine. If he does come back to play this year, he won't play on the second night of back-to-backs. But I'm talking about going really into next year. I'm talking about going to the age 35 season for a player over $40 million. That's tough to look at because he won't obviously be part of the long-term future of the Mavericks either. So do you have to start considering next year, especially once he gets back onto the floor and playing well, what that could look like in terms of him drawing some capital for you to continue to build up that war?
Keep him, man. You got to keep Kyrie.
I'm just saying, I understand the sentiment of wanting to keep him, but I think that's a realistic conversation that has to be had.
Sure, yeah. I mean, you said that a long time ago, and I said the same exact thing. Like, I don't want to replay a combo. I wouldn't trade Kyrie no matter what, unless he wants to get traded. Like, unless he wants to get out of here. Like he wants to go to a team to maybe win a title, a la James Harden or whatever.
Yeah.
Although James Harden just likes changing teams because I think he just likes changing teams.
Well, he likes getting paid a lot of money. He likes getting paid a lot of money.
If Kyrie is like, man, get me out of here. I don't want to be here anymore. I want to go win a title. Then you do it. Otherwise, I'm keeping that guy for as long as I can. He's just good and he's cool and he's fun to watch. And you can't put a price tag on that, Kevin.
Bigger price tags have been paid before for other things. That's for sure.
Like what?
We won't talk about it.
Oh, okay.
He's in Los Angeles now.
Mm.
Let's take our next break here on the DLLS Mavs podcast, post-game show. When we come back, we welcome our DLLS Mavs beat writer, Harrod Jr., live from the AAC. We do that next.
Do you want to do it or do you want me to do it?
I can do it.
All right. I'll do the next one.
We want you to become part of our DLLS sports family. The easiest way that you can do that is to like, comment, and subscribe while you are here. The next way you can do that is to click that QR code you see on your screen or visit alldlls.com to become a diehard member. When you do, you get a free t-shirt upon sign up. You get access to our member-only Discord and access to our premium content curated by Harrod Jr. covering your Dallas Mavericks, Sam Nessler and Sean Shapiro covering your Dallas Stars, Jeff Wilson covering your Texas Rangers, and Clarence E. Hill Jr., the greatest beat writer in the history of the Dallas Cowboys and the messiest one as well, covering your Dallas Cowboys. He's been putting in work. I'd say that with all love and respect. All love and respect.
I really don't see how any of that is messy.
I mean, he would probably embrace the fact that he's the messiest because he drives the messy bus. You thought Jess with the mess was something else. Check out Clarence Hill, what he got going on. But he's been putting in work, and he's all for you, the diehard. If you want to become a diehard member, again, go to alldlls.com to become a diehard member. Check it out today. Apparently, George Pickens was the Pro Bowl MVP. Congrats to George Pickens.
The Pro Bowl was
tonight. Yeah,
all right,
the Pro Bowl games were tonight. Yeah, in San Francisco. So
games like multiple?
Well, they play flag football.
We cared about it so much that we have 3 TVs upstairs, and the Mavs game was on 2 of them, and we did not even put the Pro Bowl on the 3rd.
I forgot it was playing. I forgot it was happening.
I
I
just
saw a couple
figured
highlights.
Multiple games, or is it just one?
It's
game?
like one big flag football game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they have
cool, I guess.
I
competitions
just
and
figured
stuff
you
like
didn't
that.
care.
Did we put stuff on our channel about that?
I mean, I guess that's the HLC's job. I guess.
I had no idea it was tonight. I'm not gonna...
You've been footballing enough. It's fine.
Yeah, I've been doing quite a bit. Yeah.
Let's go out to the American Airlines Center and welcome in our DLLS Mavs beat writer.
Feel better, E-double.
Oh, yeah. Feel better. Harrod Jr. live from the AAC. Ron, what's going on?
Pretty good. How you all
All right.
feeling?
We're back. All right, cool. We're back. Shout out to you.
Some things never change.
Yeah, that's right. Unfortunately, the Mavericks losing, depending on how you feel about it. They lose 110, 100 tonight. Your biggest takeaway and what did Jason Kidd have to say after tonight's game?
Yeah, I mean, tonight was just a night where, I have the stat sheet right here where no one else really showed up outside of Cooper Flagg tonight. It seemed like that's just been a small trend over this, 5-game now losing streak for the Dallas Mavericks. He has to have some help, man. And we were talking about this in the media section, like, man, if Cooper Flagg wasn't here and this was, Colin Murphy Boyles or, even Trey Johnson or somebody like that, it'd be dark. It'd be really, really, really dark. So at least in the fact that while the team played horrible tonight and while Daniel Gafford was, banging the ground and somehow coming back, at least Mavs fans say, you know what, we have a guy that scored 36 points, had 9 rebounds, had 6 assists, scored the most points ever by a teenager in a 14 points, 14 more than any player, any, teenager. It's wow. Would it be dark without Cooper Flagg? So that was my biggest takeaway, and just Flagg, who came to the podium, just talked about, like, I asked, like, hey, like, where are teams starting to do, to you now defensively? He said, teams are, still sending him to his left hand because I'm sorry, teams are now starting to send him to his right hand more, even though that's his dominant hand. He's proven that his left hand is so strong that teams are now forcing him to his dominant hand. And then he said teams are, starting to go under screens more, which is why he was 2 of 4 from 3 tonight. It's like he's making them pay for kind of going through those coverages. I asked, do you think that was disrespectful? He said no. He just says, hey, I go into screens a lot. It's a part of the game. You have to just take advantage when teams give you those type of coverages.
Yeah, I think it is the right move, first off, to force him right, because he does love going left if he has his choice. And then I also think it's the right move to go under.
Yeah.
Because he just, and this isn't a criticism of Coop, it's just whenever he comes off a screen, his first instinct is to drive. It's not to look for the shot. Now, if teams go under every game for the next 3 weeks, then his instincts are going to change a little bit. And I think he's smart enough to be able to adapt to that.
Especially if he starts consistently knocking down the three-pointer.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
He's got to, that's probably his summer project.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, that'll be the project for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
It is for everybody. But, yeah, I mean, because with his level of force, it's just like LeBron, right? The Mavs sagged off LeBron all the way to winning a title.
Mm-hmm.
And then LeBron became like one of the most prolific three-point shooters in NBA history. Like he's whatever, number 3 all time or something in threes somehow, or number 6 all time or something.
He's top 6, in threes, and top 10, yeah.
Yeah, you can't sag off him anymore. Like it's just and that's how you become totally and completely unguardable.
Mm-hmm.
And Coop has that potential. He's just got to put in the work.
Yeah, I think what I loved about his game tonight, you could tell he is comfortable getting to his spots. I mean, Jaylen Brown was, hounded him pretty good, and he at one point he was able to get to the right elbow and rise up and knock a jumper down over Jaylen Brown comfortably, even with the physicality that Jaylen Brown was presenting to him. So as he's getting comfortable, getting to his spots, knocking down mid-range, and then if he becomes a credible three-point shooter, yeah, it's curtains. Because you can't guard him. He's going to get physically bigger and stronger as he gets older. He's going to become a more consistent shooter. I mean, he'll become a true 3-level scorer, and he's already getting to the line. He had 11 free throw attempts tonight, which I'm sure Jason Kidd was pretty happy about. Yeah, he's going to become an unstoppable offensive force. And the scary part is that we've seen the flashes and glimpses of it. He's got 3 straight 30-point games. In fact, he's the 4th3 to have at least 3 straight 30-point games since 2000, 2001. So, like, historic stuff that Cooper Flagg continues to put together. What else did you take away from tonight?
Well, I think I'm writing the story as well, but I think Boston kind of gave the blueprint on how to build around a Cooper Flagg. I mean, Jaylen Brown's an amazing, amazing player. He's averaging 29 points this season. One, because, Jayson Tatum is out, there's more shots available. But really, mainly, is because he's playing with 4 floor spaces on the court. Like, you really can't double them because, okay, if I bring someone else over and too quickly and somebody, okay, let's leave Derek White open. Let's leave Sam Hauser open. Let's leave Peyton Pritchard open. Their big men can shoot. Like Luka Garza is allegedly Klay Thompson now. Like, at this point, it's like, if we do that, he's a great slasher. Flagg is 2 inches taller than Jaylen Brown. You know what I'm saying? And Jaylen Brown, which, was made fun of for not being able to go left. Teams are trying to send Flagg not only away from his non-dominant hand to his dominant hand. He's more, ambidextrous than even Jaylen Brown, who was a finals MVP. If you get this guy floor spacing, I think the blueprint is out there. If Jaylen Brown can average 29, Cooper Flagg could probably get you 32 when he hits his prime. So the blueprint's out there. And I would love to see him in a Boston-type offense. They run a really fun ball movement offense that, still has some ISO plays in there.
It's the number one pillar in the Bobby Carella tower of basketball. You can never have enough 3-point shooting. You can never have enough guys that can dribble, and pass, and make decisions, and you can never have enough switchable defenders. I've been saying that since 2014 or something. I mean, that is like the bedrock of my basketball philosophy,
especially in today's NBA.
And to see the Celtics just do it, and just, I mean, they look so unstoppable because every single guy on the court can do at least two of the following: at least dribble, pass, or shoot. Many of them can do all three, and it's impossible to defend a team that can do that. And
they keep finding them, like Hugo Gonzalez, Jordan Walsh. Like they keep finding these guys.
Well, Jordan Walsh, that was the thing. He couldn't shoot in college. That was like the big kind of weakness, and he just put in a ton of work, man.
Yeah, and he's become a credible 3-point shooter. Like, yeah, the Celtics have, and the scary part is they're doing all this without Jason Tatum. Like 14 games above 500. Jaylen Brown's become an MVP candidate. Maybe if it's, a fringe MVP candidate. Like, he's been unbelievable this year. One of the things I appreciated about Cooper Flagg's game tonight as well is that, and I'm sure you noticed as you were watching him on the floor, I mean, Celtics got physical with him. I mean, there was a lot of bumping, a lot of, grabbing, a lot of hitting, but he played through all of that. And I thought really had a composure to himself by still playing through that and getting to where he wanted to on the floor, because the Celtics did not take it easy on him by any means, and threw a number of different guys at him to try to slow him down tonight.
Yeah, I mean, his motor is maybe the best in the NBA at this point. I mean, the man they were down like 18 points. He still was going to the lane, getting basically elbowed in the rib cage, getting up, shooting free throws. Also, it's not at least it doesn't seem like a coincidence that after the Jason Kidd outbreak about, hey, Cooper Flagg's not getting fouls, that now he shoots 11 free throws in the game. I'm just saying. He scored 42 points in the game. He only took 6 free throws that game. Just saying. He also got he got to the line because he got a lot of rim attempts. We kind of complained. We're like, hey, when you go to the rim a lot, like a Denny Av did with the Portland Trailblazers, they're rewarding these players with free throws. So why wasn't Flagg getting that thing? Tonight, he got beat up a little bit, but because of said thing, he took 11 free throws and made 10. The man's already an elite free throw shooter. We talked about LeBron James earlier. He was never a great 3-point shooter. Was never even really a good 3-point shooter. It was like a probably average, 3-point shooter for his position. Flagg is like an already good free throw shooter. I'm sorry, and we'll see how that develops, over his career. That's something that really adds to your arsenal that can really help your true shooting percentage, over your career.
All right, 2 things. 1, Kleb renewed his membership. Shout out Kleb.
Shout out to Kleb.
3-month member of the supporter club. Also hung out with us over the weekend. And he said, thoughts
Shout
on the
Kleb.
2019 Raptors as a blueprint, Coop being that team's Kawhi. I think another thing that they have in common with that team, granted it's a different kind of player, but the Raptors had an undersized point guard.
Yeah, Kyle
Lowry. At the time, he wasn't totally aging. I mean, he was in his 15th year though. By the
they
time
acquired
they won,
Marc Gasol to put together on that roster too.
Yeah, and they traded, and they had Pascal Siakam, who was young at the time.
Yeah,
and they had OG Anunoby, who was still pretty young. He was, I think, only in his 3rd or 4th season, maybe even 2nd season. I don't remember what year OG came out. That's again, you got to have that mix. You gotta have an alpha. You got to have some good experienced guys. You got to have some young dudes on cheap contracts, and you got to have a pretty good bench. They had Van Vliet off the bench.
They did.
It was a really good team. That was a really well-built team, and the guy that built that team is a free agent. Isn't that interesting? Number 2, Marc Stein did a Tankathon spin on the All-NBA podcast earlier today, and we haven't forgiven him for that. So, Ron, we're doing Tankathon with you tonight.
Let's go.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
It's a huge night for the Mavs because they're in 7th place in the Tankathon order. They are now a full game up on Milwaukee. Eat your heart out, Bucks. There's 3.5 games behind Utah. Utah might not win 3.5 games the rest of the year, so who knows?
Man.
But the Mavs currently, they're all the way up to a 31.9% chance at a top 4 pick and a 7.5% chance. That's 1 in 14 at the number 1.
As long as it's above
overall
1.9, like, we're good here. Like, as long as it's above 1.8, 1.9, we're good here. So I'll take those odds. Yeah, why not? Well, let's take the Tankathon spin in 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
We deserve it.
Oh
No one wants that.
Oh man. So the Grizzlies get the number one
down
pick.
again.
Yeah, they moved down this time. Yikes, man.
Bad luck. It's terrible luck.
They've moved down 11 out of 19 spins.
Yikes.
I guess it's
Hey, well, Ron, look at you. Look at you, Mr. Wizard. You get Kingston Flemings in this particular one.
They just trade for Trae Young.
They did just trade for Trae Young. Yep, they sure did.
Who knows what the Washington Wizards are doing?
Who got number one? The Grizzlies got number one, which means they get Darren Peterson in this case.
Oh, wow.
I mean, see ya, Ja. See ya.
Those fans are going to forget him so fast if they get
yeah, Darren Peterson come calling. See ya, Ja. He might be gone by the time we get to Thursday anyway, at this rate. But yeah, the Mavericks in this case take LeBaron Philon from Alabama.
Yeah,
Philon, excuse me, from Alabama.
Thunder. Wow.
We got some folks in the chat who love LeBaron.
Yeah, he could definitely guard. I mean, he's out of this top 10, maybe Kingston, but he's probably the second best point of attack defender, guarding actual point guards, which the Mavs don't have that player on their roster. So that'd be cool. I don't think about it. I'm not sure what he's shooting from three. I think it's good this year, but I don't know is he actually a real good shooter, or is it just I'm a sophomore, I shoot good now?
Real quick, 30 seconds. Should I be concerned about Najee Marshall and Max Christie who went to a combined 8 of 28 tonight from the field?
Wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. This is kind of the second straight game that the Knife has kind of struggled. They just aren't really letting him get to the paint comfortably as he kind of was for basically a 2-month stretch. And Max Christie, while he didn't look confident early, he did make a 3 late. And hopefully that translates to, buckets next game.
We shall see. Who played the last Mavericks game tonight? Who played the last game? Real quick, 10 seconds. Who played the last game as a Maverick tonight?
Oh, I don't know. Mavs fans probably hope Daniel Gafford.
Okay. We'll leave it at that. Ron, we appreciate the time. Enjoy the day off tomorrow. We will talk to you on Thursday for our trade deadline special. That will kick off at 1:30 p.m. right here on DLLS Sports. We'll talk to you then.
All right. See y'all.
Bye, Ron.
See ya.
See ya.
All right, but goodbye. All right.
That was my bad. It was in preview mode. My bad.
All right, let's take our final break here on the DLLS Mavs.
Marc Stein, you better
show.
give us some good friggin' news, buddy.
A lot has happened today. James Harden has left the Clippers. Jaren Jackson is a Utah Jazz. A lot of stuff happening. We'll break it all down with our guy Marc Stein. We'll do that next.
But first, we shouted out Kleb earlier. Kleb is a member of our supporters club. That's a little way to you get some emojis when you sign up for that. How about that? You also get an extra video a week. It's usually some behind the scenes thing like Kat did, like a day in the life vlog. KG and I were talking about local politics getting in the way of the Dallas Wings getting their new practice facility not finished, started.
At least Paige going off on Unrivaled, though. She's going
I can only imagine what kind of supporters club content the Cowboys are going to bring back home from Radio Row out in San Francisco. But yeah, again, you get an extra video a week. You get to use some emojis. You get a cool little badge next to your name, and also you get our undying affection. So shout out to Kleben. I also see Oscar Rodriguez, supporter club. We have Classic Stang Lover in there as well. Ardell was in there earlier too. We got some supporters.
We got a lot of
diehards,
supporters,
dude.
man.
And nothing but love for all of you, and especially nothing but love for Mavrelo Bolovic.
Oh, wow. How does Matt feel about that?
Well, Kleb just put the Mavrelo supporters emoji in the chat.
You might need to talk to Matt about that because he don't get down with Mavrelo.
Matt
Glasson.
Who?
Oh, you don't know who that is. Never mind. Never mind.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's fine.
I feel am I missing out on a joke?
No, you're not. I'll tell you that afterwards. It's fine.
All right.
No laughing matter right now. as we bring in our national NBA. Oh, wow. Our national NBA insider. I was scared. I forgot he was not coming up as himself on the screen. It's our national NBA insider, Marc Stein, as we literally dial up the Stein line here on the DLLS Mavs postgame show. Mark, what's going on?
First things first, do I sound okay? Because, man, on my end, there's a lot of popping and crackling. Sound
You
all
sound
right?
good.
Yes.
Good. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Glad I sound good.
Let's just start with a human check-in. How are you doing? Are you doing okay?
Everything's fine. Just grinding away. Just got a lot of screens going at once. Appreciate you guys letting me connect audio only so I can multitask as we have this discussion.
Well, let's just dive into it as much as we can. Let's start on the Mavericks front. We are now less than 48 hours away from the trade deadline on February 5th. Daniel Gafford, Najee Marshall, Klay Thompson, D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Davis. Where are we with those individuals? Let's just run it down and start with let's start with Daniel Gafford, who was able to come back, finish with a double-double tonight after leaving the game with yet another ankle injury, but did finish tonight's game.
Well, one of the presumed suitors for Daniel Gafford was the team that was at the AAC tonight, but obviously Boston has pivoted. The Celtics have made a trade for Nikola Vucevic, and so that takes the Celtics out of the center market. Toronto, they really seem to be of late as focused on Domantas Sabonis. I would say he's been the number one big man on their board. For the Raptors to pull that off, they've got to find somewhere, some way, somehow to get Jakob Poeltl in the deal. The Kings do not want Jakob Poeltl's contract. I don't know that there's really Poeltl has missed 20 plus games in a row. I don't know how you could find a third team willing to take him at this point, but the reality is I'm really, and I this is coming from a place of I'm just trying to be as truthful as and informative as possible. But I've heard so much. I feel like I'm hearing tons of chatter and like the Mavs are not doing anything. Do something. Do something. Like they are trying. They would love to make a trade or two, but the reality is these contracts are not easy to move, and Gafford is just not generating the kind of interest that was anticipated in the fall because he's had so much trouble staying on the floor. Because we still have, what are we at now? We're at 36 hours ish to go, is something like that. Is my math close there, Bobby? So like they're going to keep trying on all these guys. Look, we've gone over this pretty frequently. They do not want to trade Najee Marshall. They do not want to trade Max Christie. And as we speak, as it stands, I don't anticipate them getting an offer that forces them to really contemplate that. I mean, for Najee Marshall, they wanted a first. The Sacramento Kings wanted a first round pick for Keon Ellis, and it didn't materialize. So, but look, we know Gafford, Clay, D'Lo, they would move those guys if the offer materialized. But it's just because of the contracts. It's I can't say that there is momentum building towards a trade in any of those areas. Now, could something happen on deadline day? I suppose, but I just like I said, I see videos on Twitter. Do something. Why are they not trading anybody? Like they want to. I think they want to as badly as Bobby Corellistrator wants them to.
Well, yeah, I was going to say you were talking earlier about hearing people saying do something. I was like, I don't know who you're talking about because it definitely hasn't been me. But Mark, going back to what you said about Gafford, because you and some others have reported that teams have been interested in Gafford as early as like November. He gets hurt first day of training camp and has been limited by that injury all year. And if that is what is keeping teams from being interested in him at this point, his nagging injury, then I feel like the very obvious question is, why did they let him play on a bad ankle all season, thereby not only limiting his ability and production and effectiveness on the court, but also possibly eliminating their ability to move him during the season? Like, what are they trying to lose games? Like, I'm trying to think of the justification for that decision. I don't know if you know that or not, but that's just I'm just kind of upset question.
So you think sitting him would have made him more tradable?
I think sitting him might have increased the chances that his ankle would be well enough so that he wouldn't have to leave every single game early after banging the floor in dramatic fashion.
Yeah, give him a chance to get healthy.
I mean, I guess it's possible, but like you can't fool teams. You can't like sit him and say, "Oh, he's in great shape. Give us a first."
Well, no, I mean,
like
I'm saying that not like the best way the tried and true method to recovering from injury is to not keep re-injuring the same thing that's hurting, and like he's literally writhing on the floor in pain. I'm not making fun of the guy, like he's a battler, but like he leaves the game early, like at least once a week.
Yeah,
like,
I understand that frustration because it does seem lately like every single game he's exiting and then re-entering the game, but it has just been one thing after another with him all season, and there's no doubt it's affected his trade value. Could they have handled it better? I mean, honestly, in all candor, I've been chasing so many other things that, that's been farther down the list, and I will try to get answers to those questions. Do the Mavericks wish they would have handled it differently? Because I can't really tell you. I don't really know if that was, has it been an option to say, take 6 weeks off? But like, look, one way or the other, if he's not playing or repeatedly injuring himself, like I just don't, either way, it's not helping the value. And, his contract, I think at the start of the season was seen as very tradable. And because of the way this season has unfolded, it's a lot harder. Clay, we've talked about it, the same thing. He's actually shot the ball great. And I think he would be able to help many teams, but he's got one more year left on his deal. And that's going to be seen as a deterrent in a lot of places. So I think that's gotten in the way of being able to move him. Again, I don't, with Najee, they've established this high price point. I don't think anybody here is rooting for Najee to get traded. I mean, I'm guessing if somebody offered a first for him Wednesday or Thursday, that this show would be pretty sad. I don't think that's going to happen. So I do think he's going to stay. Shout out, by the way, to Ron Harrod Jr. for the great story he did, and Najee's very Najee-esque way of saying that he wants to be a Mav for life. And Anthony Davis, with all of these guys, nothing has changed since the last several times we've talked about it. There just isn't a lot of movement because it's contractual issues in almost every single case.
well, this is the worst.
I mean, I guess, I don't want to, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like, I feel like if I don't tell you guys
better,
the truth, I've got to tell you the truth. But like, nobody wants to hear the truth.
Just lie to me, please. Lie to me, dude. Lie, please.
So let me ask you a question. So, because I'm trying to, just get a better understanding, from your, point of view and read. Did they overvalue some of these individuals in terms of the asking price on them? Because, like, for example, you mentioned with Keon Ellis, the Kings were looking for a first-round pick, didn't get it. Like, is there some overvaluing going on, or is these just what they believe these are the correct, thresholds and prices are for the guys that they have out here right now?
Well, hold on one second.
Oh, is he about to break a trade?
Please talk amongst yourselves for a second, please, and I'll be right back.
All right. Well, let's address some supers.
Chat. Yeah. Classic Stain Lover with the $1.99 super chat. Is Kyrie wanting AD to stay? I don't
know who Marcel is. I have seen some like fan accounts basically saying that. I think that's just pure conjecture. There could be truth to it, but I have no idea.
I have no idea. Class St. with the $4.99 super chat. If Kai wants to keep AD, he can go to.
Whoa!
I like Kai, but it's time to rebuild now.
Classic Sting lover, I appreciate you. I really value our relationship. But heck no, could not disagree more. Kyrie is precious, and I hope he plays for the Mavericks until he's 50 years old, and then some.
Sheldon Fennel with the $9.99 super chat. The style Boston plays is.
Did Stein say something or?
I was concerned he was gonna not want to be on air. I'll text him.
Okay.
Sheldon Fennel with the $9.99 super chat. The style Boston plays is one I think Coop can thrive in. How many players do the Mavs have versus how many do they need to pull that off? I'm talking Boston without Tatum.
Holy moly. I mean, to play Boston style, the Mavs don't have anyone that can do what Derek White can do. I mean, and that's why going back to the offseason, it's like, dude, they should do whatever they can to get Derek White. Like, I really, really liked Derek. I mean, Derek White is a very unique player. There aren't many guards in the league that can do what he does, but I mean, he alone would transform the Mavs, or a player like that would transform the Mavs. Let alone, some of the other kinds of players they have. But Derek White is he is just so special.
Yeah, they don't have a true point of attack defender who can shoot from three. Derek White, even at 31, is still very effective at doing that. And he's become an integral part. I mean, he's upped his points per game to over 17 points per game, and has really helped out Jaylen Brown in that case in the absence of Jason Tatum. Mark, we got you back.
I'm back.
I was just trying to unpack the idea of, have maybe overvalued the marketplace for some of these guys.
No, because I think, remember, part of the mess is Daniel Gafford and Klay Thompson were not given those contracts. Well, okay, in Daniel Gafford's case, the extension was given with an idea that it's the most we can give him and he remains tradable. But Klay Thompson was acquired to be a finishing piece alongside Luka Doncic. The Mavs are in this position where they need to shed all this salary because, I mean, they're not what's the word I'm looking for? I can't even speak English at this hour after a day like this. Where they are in their team building mode, this is not where they expected to be. They made all these moves, they gave up all these draft picks trying to build this team around Luka, and that's what made it so, one of the many reasons that made the Luka trade so frustrating is you do all this stuff to build a team around Luka. They play 17 games with a healthy Luka, they go 14-3, and then they just trade him, and now you have Klay on a long-term contract. Gafford, they extended and thought he would be tradable, but he has not been healthy all season long. AD, because of all his injury issues, that has certainly impacted his tradability. And so they're just lacking the flexibility to do anything they want to do. And look, it's still, as late as it is, I'm going to say it's still early. There's still more than a day here. Are they going to manufacture something? I think they will take it right to the buzzer trying. But realistically, are you going to find a trade for D'Angelo Russell? We've covered that. I mean, that only was going to happen if he was willing to give up his player option, which he's obviously not going to do that. The guy's he's barely played all season. He's not going to give up the $6 million that he's owed for next season. So it is just a very challenging marketplace with the chips that the Mavs have. Now,
that's a nice way of putting it, to be honest.
Yeah, that's tough to swallow.
I just see the trade today where Memphis sends Jaren to Utah. Mm-hmm. Memphis is going to be worse than the Mavs this year, so they're going to get a better pick or have better positioning. Utah is going to remain worse than the Mavs this year because they're just going to send Jaren on a
vacation,
on a sabbatical.
That's right.
And then next year, Utah is in a better position to be good than the Mavs are.
Yeah.
And the Grizzlies
But
now have the most picks in the league.
Utah had 3 first-round picks to trade. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
well,
how you get Jaren Jackson.
And now they give him to Memphis, who has the most picks in the league, and Memphis is in the Mavs division, and they're probably going to end up with like one of the worst records in the NBA, and they might get more picks for Ja, or maybe not.
The teams in and around and above and below the Mavericks they're
getting outmaneuvered right now, man.
They're getting ran in circles around right now.
It makes me worried, Mark. You know that I'm a worrier, but I'm even more worried than I normally would be right now.
Well,
and we hadn't even talked about Houston.
I think I'm the foremost worrier on the staff, but like I heard you talking earlier about it's too many voices. That's not the problem. The problem is not too many voices. The problem is contracts that are very difficult to move. That's the problem. It's not too many voices. It's not they haven't hired a full-time GM yet.
I understand why they're waiting to hire a GM.
But they're not waiting. That's what I'm trying to say. They're not having any luck making a move. They're not.
I'm not talking about trades. I'm talking about the GM. Talking about GM. Like I understand wanting to do a full process and stuff. Like, but I also want to stress that it's just, I mean, every season is important. I'm not going to be the one that's like, this is the most important moment in world history. But, like, it's a pretty important moment in the course of the Mavs franchise, given the number of big contracts and big players and age and everything just basically just not hiring a GM after firing the guy that you could have fired 6 months earlier.
Yeah.
Like, it is such a waste of time. Not for fans. I just mean they're just wasting time.
Because I guess the part where I would go to and where I think other folks would go to in some respects is once you fire the guy that had this grandiose vision for what he had, once you fire that guy, you're not beholden to that anymore. So what was the point in firing him if you're going to just continue to go down the road with the players that are still here? I know the contracts are difficult to move.
But that's where the disconnect is. Like they're not beholden to Nico's plan. Like they're
stuck with it.
Guys are not. Yes, they're stuck with the plan. That's a much better way of saying it.
That's
now,
even worse.
Yeah, that's almost as bad as not worse.
Oh God!
Like they're stuck with all of this.
We didn't call it an airlift. Get me out of here.
You can't make the contracts more attractive just because we're mad about it. I mean, I'm not trying to say don't be mad and frustrated about it, because it is incredibly frustrating. It is incredibly dispiriting. And yeah, waiting till November did set this thing back and slow it down. But I don't know. I really don't know. Like we talk about AD. Trade AD, but like what has been the offer that they didn't take? What has been the offer that was actionable to this point? I don't think there's been one. Now, again, it is Wednesday and GM Ben, don't even say such a thing.
I didn't see what he was.
It'll pop up.
GM Ben with the well the $1.99 Super Stein. You got to react because it is directed to you. What can we get for Flagg?
Oh my gosh.
He is the most untouchable there is.
You think they could get Connect and another first rounder for Coop, or do you think it's just like I mean it just is they've got to be the only 12 seed of all time that cannot make a move to get better or worse.
That's a bleak picture because you cannot be bad and expensive, or you can't be expensive and middling. Like you've got to pick a direction one way or the other. And
most teams don't even want to be expensive.
And they don't. Well, you can in this era with the aprons.
God,
and you can't. But yeah, that's the worst place.
We're gonna have to see, can they manufacture something here in the next 24 to 36 hours? And
Mark, if I give you a message to pass on to your sources inside that building, can you do it? Can you do it for me?
Mm.
Do you promise?
See. What's the message?
My message to them is, please try your hardest and do your best. Please. Do it for the fans. Do it for the greater good. Just do your best.
Oh yeah, I was gonna get to Charlie D with the $4.99 super chat. This is for you, Stein. If Stein
I'll answer that one in a second. But here I see South Hoops is saying Kings are worse and just as expensive. And have they been able to trade Zach LaVine yet? Have they been able to trade Sabonis yet? Have they been able to trade DeRozan yet? They've been trying just as hard as the Mavs. But
yeah, no, the Kings are in a god awful position.
Yeah, they're awful.
They
traded the guy that they can trade, who's Keon Ellis, and made a trade that I don't think their fans, I don't think their version of DLS Mavs is loving that trade.
Yeah, I mean, the one advantage that the Kings have in that regard is most of those guys are expiring next year, which is, I mean, that's
DeRozan,
mega cope, but still.
Was that DeRozan and LaVine are both
LaVine,
on
DeRozan, Hunter. I mean, those.
So they'll be able to free up a bunch of money to do nothing with.
Well,
because who's going to Sacramento on purpose? Charlie D with a $4.99 super chat. If Stein caught wind of the Luka trade the night before, would he have reported the discussions to salvage the city by causing a backlash?
Of freaking course.
I can't wait for the 30 for 30 or whatever document comes out.
I hate myself for not being able to do that. I wish.
Were you like us, just enjoying your Saturday night?
I wasn't enjoying it. It was the Saturday before the deadline, so I was still in trade deadline mode. But yeah, it was.
Yeah, whenever that movie comes out of how that was kept as quiet as it was, like I will be locked in, popcorn and all, because how those individuals between Pelinka, Jeannie, Patrick Dumont, and Nico were able to keep that quiet from everyone until it dropped. It's unbelievable to me. It's unbelievable in this era that they were able to do that. Classic Stanley with the $4.99 super chat. Love Kai, but does he help the rebuild at all? I love watching him, but what does he give us?
Well, if you get a really good pick this year and you're able to move something around, create a little flexibility, maybe make one move to add someone this summer, then you're probably a playoff team next year. I mean, realistically, like I think if healthy Ding, I mean, they have a really good chance to contend for the playoffs next year if they handle themselves right over the next 6 months.
I mean, that's built on a house of cards of health luck, which cool. Sheldon
message for Ethan Melton. Since I'm on my phone, I'm seeing some of these chats. I think if you go and find the tweets, Ethan, you will find when I said they had no interest in Kyrie Irving, they did have no interest in Kyrie Irving. And I think if you do a research for the tweets, you'll find that when he asked the Nets for a trade, the first person to tweet that the Mavericks were interested in him shortly before they traded him was me. If we're going to talk about that.
Not the 360.
So we got like a or not even we gotta get like a Stein and theme song.
Come on! There you go. Before I get to Sheldon's super chat real quick, I do want to ask you this because I think it goes along with some of it. Musa Cisse, Ryan Nembhard, what are the prospects of them getting their two ways converted to standard deals? Is that something that the Mavs still want to do? I know Nembhard has struggled as of late. Musa's been pretty good as of late. Where are the Mavericks in terms of those two and what that means for trying to create roster spots for them?
Kevin Gray, I love you. I want to state that for the record. But this is now, I think, the 5th straight show you've asked me that. We cannot know the answer to that question until the deadline. They have to, and you see this all over the league. Every two-way situation is the same. You got to get through the deadline first because you have to see where the roster is, and then you will know, okay, this is what we have to do. And look, they might only be able to create one roster spot in the end. Okay. So we just don't know the answer.
Fair enough.
Musa Cisse, you're the leader in the clubhouse at this point, buddy.
Yeah, he has.
I'm not selling my Nimby stock, but Musa,
he's surpassed Nembhard at the moment. I would agree with that. Sheldon Fiddle with the $9.99 super chat.
Yeah, actually, if they can only keep one, who is it?
Cisse would
I mean,
get
right
my
now
vote.
at the moment it's Cisse.
But that's me operating on the impression that they are able to trade Gafford, which
What is the count on games now?
low
7
or high, depending on
7 left for Ryan Emhard and 11 left for Musa Cisse.
Wow.
So Ryan will be able to get to the All-Star break. Well, both of them will get to the All-Star break.
That's actually good compared to some of these other teams. Like Dennis
And Spencer
Jenkins
Jones
is
about out of
is close
games
to
in
0.
Denver.
Spencer Jones, yeah. I mean, so like they're actually like they can easily get past the deadline. But like I'm not trying to be funny. There's just really no way to answer that question until they get through the deadline, and then they'll figure it out.
Understood.
let's get through these and get out of here.
Any chance, Sheldon Fiddle with the $9.99 super chat, any chance teams won't seriously negotiate with the Mavs because 1, the team has no leverage with injured players. 2, the Mavs have to shed salary. 3, the Mavs didn't open up the Luka negotiations to other teams.
Ooh, is this retribution?
No, I don't think any of that. I mean, nobody's going to say you didn't call us about Luca. Now we're not going to talk to you. No, I mean, nobody would do that. Look, like
That would be hella petty, though.
we're just going to have to see. Now look, we've had. I mean, if we would have had this discussion on Friday or Saturday, we did. The weekend we did see a couple trades. If we would have had this discussion Friday, everybody would have said this trade deadline is boring. Nothing's happening. Well, we got a Harden and Garland trade. We got Jaren Jackson Jr. traded. So, like, there have been some curveballs and surprises involving marquee names. Is there still time? Could someone come in for AD with an offer that the Mavs are willing to take? I don't know yet. That's the most honest answer I can give. I do not know yet, but I'm sure they're going to keep trying all the way to the buzzer or keep the lines open. I know that's kind of become a funny thing. The Mavs lines are wide open. So.
Don't everyone call me all at once. All right, there's only 2 of us.
Yeah, it'd be kind of weird if they were like, yeah, our phone lines are off at trade deadline. Like they're not wide open. We're not taking calls right now.
I like to turn my phone on mute when I'm taking a nap. What can I say?
We got the GM Ben super chat earlier. Thank you for your contribution. Good. Shout out GM Ben. Lanner with the $5 super chat. Stein, why does Patrick Dumont want to see all 3 players together? Already fired Nico, quote unquote, best case AD plays with Kyrie and Coop. They play well, then they re-sign AD.
I think my read is that in a perfect world, they would have just loved to have seen it, to have some semblance, some feel for what it looks like. But I think they also realize at this point, it might not happen because even if no AD trade materializes between now and Thursday at 2 p.m. Central, they could still trade him in the offseason, and then we never see that. And then depending, let's say there's no trade this week. If AD's back in March, if Kyrie's ready to play after the All-Star game, because of where the Mavs are in the standings, they're going to have to decide, should we allow it or should we not have these guys play if there are no trades? Now, again, this to me is a really interesting one because if Kyrie doesn't play, if Kyrie doesn't play 5 games just to test himself, by next season, he will have been sidelined for nearly 20 months. And I don't know if you want to be out that long at his age. Now, maybe it is the right play to be out that long. Jamal Murray stayed out. I think Jamal Murray stayed out that long when he was in his 20s. But I would just imagine as a pro athlete, you would want to give it I'm not suggesting Kyrie comes back and play 20 games, but should he come back to play 5 just to see how it is, just so he's not starting next season from absolute scratch? But I do think the Mavs are realistic enough to understand that they might not have the ability to see what it looks like, even for 1 game, 2 games, 5 games. They might not have that opportunity. I think it's just something they would love to have to give them some more data for the decision making. But I think one thing we can all agree, the most important thing here is lose, and get the best possible draft odds you can because history is against you. Last May remains the only time in 17 lotteries that this team moved up. In the previous 16 lotteries, they stayed where they were 9 times. They moved down 7 times. So are they going to have lottery luck again? History says no, but if they do, I mean that's what Cooper Flagg needs more than anything.
Well, I mean, the best way you can do that is
By the way, did you guys see? So today we're on Sirius XM, and literally the show has like seconds left in it, and Zach Harper, host of Deals and Dunks on Sirius XM, he had just enough time to hit the Tankathon button while we were on the air, and the Mavs get the number 1 pick, and then our show was over.
That is the only thing that matters.
I mean,
all right. That's the only thing.
I mean, the best way you can ensure you get yourself the best draft pick, I mean, you might have to shut AD and Kyrie down. I mean, you can't have them smoking potential games as far as this goes. Stein, we appreciate your time as always. Thank you so much. It was a hell of a day in the NBA, trade deadline wise already. James Harden to the Cavs, Darius Garland to the Clippers, Jaren Jackson to the Utah Jazz, among many already deals done in the NBA. We will see what tomorrow brings, and we will talk to you on Thursday for our trade deadline special, which will begin at 1:30 right here on DLLS.
I will
Sports.
really try to bring some better news.
Thank you, and please don't forget to pass on my message to the boys over there, and the women too. To all of them, just let them know. Please do your best.
All right, everybody. Have a good night.
See ya.
Bye, Mark. Who did they get for Jaren Jackson?
So that trade, man.
No. Off the top of your head, you got to tell me.
All
I
right.
know Kyle Anderson is one of them.
Walter Clayton Jr.
Okay.
You said Kyle Anderson.
Taylor Hendricks, right?
Taylor
Former
Hendricks.
future Mav?
Yeah, it's going there as well. There was one more.
How did all of that money add up to? Doesn't Jaren make $1 gazillion? Is cap space part of it?
The biggest part of his extension kicks in next year.
Oh,
so he'll
okay.
make, I believe, it kicks up to $49 million next year.
Gotcha.
So they got him now.
Because they just sent out a bunch of rookies.
Well, yeah, they got him now to be able to, and they got one more player from the Grizzlies as well, along with
Vince
Jr.
Williams.
Yeah,
former Luka nemesis.
yeah. So they were able to make that work now before the extension really kicks in, because they're gonna go cheap next year. But yeah, it's blockbuster day, man. A lot going on. And the 3 first-round picks that helps too. Unfortunately, Mavericks lose their 5th straight game, or fortunately, depending on what side of the coin you're on.
Fortunately.
They will be back on the floor. They're off tomorrow, but they will be back on the floor on Thursday when they welcome in Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs. The last time the Spurs were here was opening night. Whew. We remember what happened that night. But they will see them on Thursday. Tip-off will be at 7:30 p.m. Our pregame show will be at 6:45 p.m. right here on DLLS Sports. We will also have on Thursday our trade deadline special. That will begin at 1:30 p.m. Mark your calendar, 1:30 p.m. on
Stein
Thursday.
joining at 2:30. So after the dust is settled, he'll be on with us. But until then, me,
Yes.
you, Ron, and
Maybe
I
National
got to
Tim.
talk to National Tim. Tanner,
So we are off
I
tomorrow.
have to be here too.
Yes.
you do have to be here. I'm sorry.
Yes, you absolutely have to be here.
Okay.
You get to suffer with us.
I'll change
Yeah.
my schedule.
Suffer?
I'll make it work.
Suffer.
I mean, if they don't make a trade.
I guarantee this year's trade deadline show will be happier than last year's.
If they don't make a trade though, like
I will
Go-
crash
go-
out.
I'm about to say, like,
I will crash
yeah,
out.
if they don't make
Last
a
year,
trade,
I was still trying to play nice. We were a new
Oh, I
company.
remember.
I didn't want to ruffle any feathers. This year, if they don't do anything, I'm going to be real mad.
but like starting at 1:30 and then going till 2:30, which is totally cool. But like if they don't make a trade, we're gonna have to. It's gonna be some sad podcasting.
we'll just talk about.
Only starting at 2:01. Or real at 2:01, we're going to be like, okay, well, they could be on the phone still.
Yeah.
Like last second. All right, so starting at like 2:07, it'll be really sad.
We'll
Very
just
sad.
talk about Giannis going to the Wolves or something.
But for the first 37 minutes, we're going to be eating pizza.
Oh, are
or
we?
tacos.
Oh, wow.
Or
we should
you
get
know,
food.
just
Yeah,
having
let's
the
do it.
best time,
Oh, okay.
and then we'll be sad.
I'm down.
And that's before they play the Spurs?
They have a game that night.
Dude, yes. I just said they played San Antonio that night.
Thought the season was over.
No, they played San Antonio twice.
They've
in
played
3
50
days.
games.
That's the other part too. We have just now crossed the 50 game threshold.
It's the whole season.
No, not quite. This is in 1999. Like, relax. Yeah, that's right. They're just gonna piss us off. That's right. The whole Stein deal. So
That
we are
KP trade deadline was wild, dude. You're a real one if you were in that chat. You were a real one.
Oh, the KP.
Shout out Oscar.
Mm.
Yeah, Kat and I were working for the Mavs at the time whenever they traded KP right
Yeah.
at the buzzer, and we were like, what do we do? Do we talk about this or not?
Y'all couldn't talk about it until it became official, right?
I mean, I
Did
did
you-
for a minute, and then I
Did
got
you really?
I got a text message telling me to stop. And
Yeah, like
it
you're a
was
team
like a whole
employee.
thing.
You couldn't do that.
Yeah, it was a whole deal. All right. Yeah, that was pretty awkward.
So yes, we are off tomorrow. So unless there's a trade that happens for the Mavericks, we will break in, of course, with an emergency pod if a trade goes down. If not, the next time you will hear from us will be Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Thank you to all of you for joining us here on our DLS Mavs post-game show. Shout out to our National NBA insider, Marc Stein, our DLS Mavs beat writer, Harrod Jr. That's our guy, Tanner, making us look good and sound good as always. Thank you, sir. That's our guy, Bobby Curl. I'm your host, Kevin Gray. We are DLLS Mavs. If we don't talk to you tomorrow for an emergency pod, we will talk to you Thursday at 1:30 p.m. for our DLLS Mavs trade deadline special. Y'all be good. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.